Welcome back, everyone. You'll notice that I'm not doing my normal farming at the start of the video, but that is because I am trying to finish out the Mauritania achievement diary since there's only one more task left. In this episode, we're going to be finishing up a couple of quests before we finally take on Dragon Slayer, bringing the first part of the challenge to a close. There we go. That was the last Mauritania challenge, or achievement, for normal at least, but here she is. Completed all the easy tasks. I think this is going to be another farming level. Yep. Farming 48. Now I can plant that Jangerberry seed in the patch. So the quest we're doing here is In Aid of the Myrique. This quest is a requirement for unlocking temple trekking, and temple trekking will be how I get most of my watermelon seeds. Moving into the second recording I had for this, I realized that all of my audio was lost. So I will be voicing over the rest of the footage for the video. And I do apologize, but this kind of thing will happen from time to time. I'm not familiar with the tech yet, and all I can do is learn how to use it better. I can't magically restore my audio unless there is some way that I could. I just don't know about it yet. But we'll make the best with what we have. This was probably the most difficult part of the quest in terms of combat, just to take the harder route, because I figured with the maximum amount of food, my follower could probably stay alive long enough. And I thought I could probably take on my level 75 as long as I also brought enough food. So luckily it worked out in the end, and I got to move on to the next part, which was enchanting the Rod of Avandis. And I know from my experience at Hill Giants that they do have a chance to drop Cosmic Runes. I did eventually manage to get the Cosmic Rune to drop, and it dropped in a pair. So with my extra Cosmic Rune, I also decided to enchant a Games Necklace to use for some slightly faster teleports, if need be. And with temple trekking unlocked, with the completion of In Aid of the Myrique, I decided to move on to the main event for the day. I was able to enter the Champions Guild since I had the required quest points in order to start the mission, and the steward let me know that I could wear Rune Plate Body if the seller would sell me some. But the seller was being grouchy and grumpy, and he told me I had to go on some silly quest to slay a dragon, you know, as shopkeepers are allowed to do, send their patrons out on wild quests. I remember the last time I went to Walmart to buy some food, they told me to go slay the seagulls that were plaguing their parking lot. So in order to get to Crandor, which apparently was a huge civilization at one point, but then the dragon woke up and really messed everything up. I need to find 3 pieces of a map, put them together, and then find a way to get over there. Additionally, I'll need an anti-dragon fire shield, which, fortunately, the Duke of Lumbridge has one, just laying around, that he's going to give me, because I'm just a great guy, I guess. Now, the first piece lies behind this door, and you need a certain combination of items to enter it. Now, I thought I had one of the items but apparently I forgot to bring it with me. I guess I'll just have to go back to the bank and grab that real quick. We can pretend like that never happened if you want. I don't mind. So with that first piece of the map, we have to then go to the second piece, which is nearby in Port Sarim in the jail. I try to keep things civil, but this goblin doesn't just want to give me the piece of paper, so like any great adventurer, I just resort to becoming a murder hobo and taking the things that I want without asking permission. Now, because the jail cell is blocking, I actually need to cast Telegrab, and that is why 33 magic was recommended. So the next part is a maze. I just looked up how to get through here, because if I didn't, I probably would have spent several hours in here. Luckily, I got through pretty fast. The mage didn't put up too much of a fight. I kept casting this weird spell that would summon cabbages and stop my attacks, which I didn't know he could do. And then I started to have a little bit of trouble safe spotting the demon here, the lesser demon. But we got there in the end. With the final piece of the map, all that was left was to fix up a boat, find a captain, and head over to Crandor. I have the cutscene playing at 2x speed because I think it looks funny. Upon being shipwrecked, you go into the volcano or the mountain or whatever, and you can now fight the dragon. But I decided to open up a shortcut before I fought the dragon, on the off chance that I was defeated. And then I went in there to slay the dragon, and I'll play that at full speed. At first I sort of tried to hit flinch the dragon, which didn't seem to be working very well because it just kind of seemed like they kept hitting me with magic every time I popped around the corner. So I went to a second spot. And it was working pretty well for a minute. I started pray flicking just to conserve prayer. And I also realized my auto retaliate was set to off, so I was just attacking too slow, and I was defeated. So luckily I don't need to find a silly napkin, I can just head straight back over there. And I put protection from magic up as soon as I head in, but I take a little bit too long to put up my anti-dragon fire shield, and I just fall over again. So I head back, I gather my things, and I decide that maybe it's just not the right time to do this, or maybe I'm just using the wrong strategy. Either way, I needed a new plan. So, in order to think, I did what I like to do, and I did some farming runs. I tried to think about how I could come at this at a better angle. Now, my melee skills are a lot higher than my range skills, so I thought the obvious answer would be to get two things. First, I need an upgrade to my weapon. A mithril scimitar is nice, but what if I could get something better? Since Dragon Slayer is a free-to-play quest, that would mean a rune scimitar would be the best equipment a free-to-play player could use to defeat the dragon. Great, that's one upgrade sorted. I need to find some way to get a rune scimitar. The second upgrade I would need is better armor. On the wiki, it recommends having adamant armor or higher in order to take on the dragon. I don't really think I can find a way to farm out rune equipment effectively, and even then I'd only be allowed to wear a rune chain shirt, not the rune plate body. So I thought of an alternative. I thought it would be really cool to complete Slug Menace. That way I'd have access to buying the Proselyte armor set from Certifi in Falador. 25k is a little bit steep, but I figured working on getting rune armor would probably take a much longer time commitment, and it would wind up being more expensive in the long run. According to the wiki, the Proselyte armor is also equivalent to Adamant in terms of defensive stats, but it has some extra prayer bonus, and it is a little bit lighter. So, how do we get Slug Menace done? There's a couple of prerequisite quests that I needed to get done. Most of them I had the proper level for. Now, you might be wondering why my inventory looks so weird. I decided to take a slight detour and finish Lost City. So here I am on a Trana. I have all the equipment with me that I need to cast a teleport spell to get out, and make my ranged armor as well as a ranged weapon. And I have so many arrows so that I can take care of the boss, because there's a safe spot. Oh. Okay, I forgot my arrows. Let's go home. Okay, take two. This time I remember my arrows, and I even remember all the stuff to make all of my gear. So we just need to defeat zombies until one of them drops a bronze axe, because you're not actually able to get an axe on the island any other way. So it's bound to happen eventually. Sure enough, second kill. There we go, bronze axe, perfect. Now, it said there was an easy safe spot on the wiki that I could get to easily. I ran out of run energy, or I hit some weird geometry and it just didn't like what I was doing. But while I was sort of running around desperately, I managed to get the tree spirit stuck on a different safe spot. So, you know what? That works for me. Regardless, it eventually goes down, and I am able to chop the tree. I do the drop trick in order to get a couple other Draymond branches, but the first one I make into a staff, and I am able to complete Lost City. We'll come back to Fairy Tale Part 1 another time. Not quest related, but farming related, I was able to get a willow tree seed while I was training my woodcutting. It came out of a bird's nest. So this is my first tree that I'm planting on the account, and that's some pretty exciting news. Trees are worth a lot of experience when you check their health. Sea Slug actually requires 30 fire making, so I had to get that requirement real quick before I could complete the quest. I also needed law rooms in order to complete Wanted, so I farmed Chaos Druids for a bit. But there's Wanted completed also. And in order to start Slug Menace, there is a level 30 Slayer requirement. So I finish up my vampire task using a really dangerous safe spot because another vampire can just spawn and walk around and start beating you up, but that was my best option. I completed a poor scene of interest, and then I started on my next task, which was Ice Warriors, but I kept hitting lag spikes, so I figured I could use magic since they're weak to fire magic, went into Guardians of the Rift for a little while, and I used the Chaos Altar in the Wilderness to get up to level 43 Prayer in order to qualify for protection from melee. And this is the only death that I have of me in the Wilderness. I died a couple other times, but I thought I was real smart when he was using range, and I protected from range, and then he just kind of got stun locked. But I'm pretty sure he just came at me and started punching me, so who's the real winner there? It was him, he got all my stuff. But I hit 43. And then, the next thing to do was to fight Zamorak warriors at the Orania altar. God dang it, how did I mess up altar, but not say Orania right? But say Orania right. Brain melted. The next item to complete was to fight Zamorak warriors at the Orania altar until I got a Rune Scimitar drop. I'm trying to get the Rune Scimitar unlock right now because you can only fight the Slug Prince with a melee weapon. So while I probably could fight it with the Mithril Scimitar and be just fine, I figured it would just make everything easier, since I need it for later anyway, to just get the Rune Scimitar now. But the Zamorak warriors themselves have a 1 in 50 drop chance to give you a Rune Scimitar when defeating one. 1 in 50 isn't a bad chance. I managed to get one after about 30 kills. The loot tracker here is a little bit inaccurate because I was getting attacked by the cave lizards that also spawn in this hallway, and I don't like to try to open my loot tracker while I'm in combat because it lags my computer. With the Rune Scimitar obtained, the fight with the Slug Prince goes over very smoothly. I'm able to protect from melee for most of the fight. I don't bother prayer flicking because his attacks drain your prayer anyway. I figured I'd probably just run out of prayer points naturally, and it would be fine. But there's the completion, and I'm able to run back to my bank, alch enough stuff to buy my new armor set. we're back, and we're ready to go fight the dragon for a rematch. I hope you were able to enjoy this episode. I know that last time I said this would be the finale. However, due to the troubles that I was having at the beginning of the episode defeating the dragon, I decided that I needed just a little bit more time. But next time is going to be the last episode of this arc where we will be defeating the dragon, and I'm going to throw in Fairy Tale Part 1 along with a couple skill grinds that I feel like I should do. So if you like what you saw, please consider subscribing. It helps a lot. And so does dropping a like if you enjoyed the video, or sharing the video around with friends if you think that this is some content that they would enjoy. Thank you for watching this video, and whether this is the first or the most recent video you've watched of the series, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the next one, and I hope you are too. Goodbye.